Hello, fellow mood readers. I'm back. I took a little bit of a hiatus. I was feeling a little slumpy. I wasn't feeling like reading. I wasn't even watching BookTube for a while. So there's a lot to catch up on. I'd like for you, if you can, to drop what you've been doing recently in the comments. I missed you guys. It's been a while. And then when I was thinking about coming back a little earlier, I got sick and I didn't record anything. I figured I'd start out with a little bit of a reading update, and then if you guys still wanted me to do a best of 2024, I could do that too. But for now, let's get into what I've been doing since I've been away. So at the very end of October, one of my most anticipated releases of last year actually came out, and I did read this, The Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne. I read this right after reading all of the horror books. So this took like November into December, I believe, because I just took my time with it and it was just amazing. John Gwynne saved me, I think, from a longer reading slump than I would have had otherwise. It kept me going. I read daily little doses at work and everything during my breaks and lunches. And it kept me going. But this book finishes up the Bloodsworn saga. And as a whole, that series, every book got 5 stars from me. The series is just amazing. I did talk about this a lot. I'm sorry to keep going on about John Gwynne, but if you love fantasy, I highly recommend you pick up his books overall. The worlds are amazing. He's very good at writing battles. All of the battle scenes are just incredible, and he's really good at making you care about characters. This series, it gave me one of my favorite female characters ever in Orca, and there were so many other great characters in here too. I can't talk about it enough. They're all thick books. They're all chunky books, but they don't read that way. They go very fast because usually he does switch perspectives between different characters. Even if you don't like that, I would say maybe try giving it a shot. Anyway, it keeps everything moving and it keeps it from getting boring because each perspective is placed for a specific reason. And as you go, the web just starts weaving closer together. He just does an amazing job at this. So this is why John Gwynne has been one of my favorite fantasy authors recently. I just haven't been able to stay away from his books, and I highly recommend it. This one is Norse mythology inspired. It's just, they're so good. I've talked these to death. So, of course, immediately after being slumpy and finishing Fury of the Gods and going right back outside of that, I went straight to Valor with Rachel over at Reading Fairy. I will link her YouTube down below, but if you like fantasy and you want to join a book club, she has one, and we've been reading The Faithful and the Fallen together. So we did read Valor, and this carried through December into January, and it was just amazing to read this. I love these books. The Faithful and the Fallen series, this is the second book. We read the first one, and currently we're reading Ruin right now. This book, you have a god war starting up. There's prophecies. There are avatars of these gods that they're trying to find. Everything is coming together. All these signs that they pointed to are starting to happen, and they're realizing that this prophecy is coming true and they need to be on the sides that they're on. These books are just amazing. Malice, some people have said that it does have a slow start, but for me it didn't feel that way. And like I said, each of his books are usually very thick. They definitely don't feel it, and especially with Valor, I feel like I started to get right back into feeling like reading. I definitely started to feel like I started to get back into reading more as I started to go through this. He pulled me right out of that slump, which I've had a very long slump before, and I was a little bit worried this time, but I guess I shouldn't have. I'm really, really happy that these books pulled me out. And that's another thing I love about fantasy is just when the worlds are there, when the characters are there, it even the small doses just feel like enough, and it starts to drag you back in. You just get absorbed into reading about these other places, these people, and you get attached to these characters. I need to know what's happening in these books because they're just amazing. The characters are great. There have been moments in this series already that have made me tear up and cry. And I did cry at the end of Fury as well. So I just feel connected to fantasy a lot. Like, I do get that way about other specific books, but the fact that these books can be like so long and so big, and you're with them for so long, and it kind of feels like the characters are real because they're all flawed and they all make decisions that you think are okay decisions and then they are not, which happens to us all. And they're very complex, and even if you don't like the character, you happen to get chapters from their perspectives, you still understand why. There are definitely characters that I despise in here. I do like how he weaves these together, and I'm so excited to continue on with this. I did buy Wrath recently, just in preparation to finish The Faithful and the Fallen. I have some others to talk about, so let's get on to those. And like I said, currently we are reading through Ruin in the book club. I'm about this far through. It's just so hard not to just keep reading and devour these books. To slow myself down, I did actually start reading a little bit on the side, because generally I only have 2 books going at the same time. I'll usually have a physical and an audiobook, and during my slump I wasn't listening to audiobooks. I was barely even listening to podcasts. I just wasn't feeling like a lot of things. But now I have listened to a few audiobooks, which I will definitely get into. I'm so excited to continue this and to find out this 3rd book. Oh, a lot of these chapters have been ending on cliffhangers, and each time it does, I'm just like, oh no, why? I have to keep going. And it just pulls you right in, and it just keeps you going. So like I said, I do have audiobooks that I've been listening to. I listened to Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. I have mixed feelings about Riley Sager books. I don't know if I'm trying the wrong ones for me. I read Home Before Dark. That was my first Riley Sager, and I didn't mind that one much at all. I thought it was pretty good, and I did not like House Across the Lake. That one I didn't like it at all. I think I gave it 2 stars, and I did the same with Middle of the Night. I don't know, I found things in there that were a little bit just okay. Like, overall it felt mostly okay, and there were things that were happening that were just like, okay, why is this happening? It's kind of like felt like a little bit like convenient that certain things were happening, and I did want to know how he was going to end it, because House Across the Lake, I think, had me a little bit, and I was a little invested, and then I did not like it. This one was kind of just like, eh. It kind of fizzled out, and it didn't really get going much in the first place. There were moments that kind of led you to think about the end, and it just fell flat, and I just didn't like it. So if you have any suggestions of maybe your favorite Riley Sager, otherwise I think I might give up, since now that is 1 that I like and 2 that I did not. So I'm not sure about the rest, but I'll never say that I won't try one again just to see. But what are your thoughts on Riley Sager? Because I'd really like to know if you have similar feelings to me, or if you absolutely love that author. I am sorry if you do and you enjoyed those books, but I might be willing to try 1 more. I do have 1 more audiobook to get to. I did start Under the Dome by Stephen King. I don't have that physically, and I did get it on audio. It's quite a long one. All of his books are big. I've been listening to that one. I believe I'm over halfway now. It's pretty good. I don't remember very much from the series. I think I started watching it, but I only got like a couple of episodes in, so I don't really remember much from that. I definitely never read this book before. In Under the Dome, you have a small town that gets shut off from everything else when the dome drops, and you get some scenes that I remember them putting in the trailers for the series, and I was like, whoa, okay, I want to watch this, or I want to read this book. You have the small town, you have the politics going on, because of course you do, and kind of feels a little bit real, to be honest, right now, but I think a lot of the dynamics definitely work. Right now, I'm not sure what the ending is going to be. I never got spoiled. I didn't watch the end of the show. I don't know if it did fully finish. I'm a little over halfway, so we'll see how that goes. I did see that some people gave it higher ones. It got very mixed reviews. Some people gave it like 4 stars, and then there were others that gave it like 1 or 2. They were kind of all over the place. I do want to read as much King as I can. I don't know that I'll ever get through all of his books, but I have read a lot of them already, and he is a great author. I do love his characters. His endings don't always stick the landing, but a lot of the times it's mostly the journey there. So far, my favorite book of his has been 11/22/63. Nothing has beaten that so far. It's an absolute masterpiece, and I love that book. The callbacks and the Easter eggs were really nice. I did like the way that he utilized those Easter eggs and the things that he did with that book. I still have yet to watch the miniseries on that one. I think it was Hulu that did that one. Watched 1 episode, but I know they changed some things, because I don't remember one specific part where it was supposed to be, so I don't think it's going to be in there at all. What is your favorite Stephen King? I'd like to know. I do have some of his planned out for this year. I really do want to reread Do McKee. It's been a very long time since I read it, and I think it would be a perfect kind of summer read. And I do want to read You Like It Darker, and I know that there is a short story in that pertaining to Do McKee, and that was one of the reasons that I read Cujo, because I wanted to have all of the context going in. And I do have the Langoliers on my cart. I have a bunch of books behind me that I have yet to get to. I didn't read Dreamcatcher. I didn't read Christine yet, so we still have some big ones that I didn't get to, and I'm excited to go back to some of those. Hopefully that pans out. I wanted to read Do McKee last year, but I wasn't really feeling that, and I just, mood reader. But we'll see this year if it happens. I hope so. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, I am also Library of a Mood Reader on there, and I got a wonderful gift from my buddy reading bestie, Allie. She bought me a Kobo Libra color, and I've been reading A Sorceress Comes to Call on it. I wanted to give T. Kingfisher another try. I don't think I was quite in the mood for the sense of humor of the Hollow ones. I think if I give it another go, I will enjoy it more as I expect it. But I can't even remember if it was the sense of humor that threw me off or not, or if perhaps I just wasn't feeling that book at that time. But I did enjoy it. I didn't dislike it at all, but I think overall it wasn't what I was feeling at the time, because if I remember right, I really thought that the premise was very interesting and I did like it. So, but I wanted to give T. Kingfisher another try, and A Sorceress Comes to Call I've been looking at since it came out, and there was a sale on the Kobo, and I went for it, and I'm already 60% through, and I'm really enjoying this one. I like it a lot. I do have Paladin's Grace on here as well. I want to try that series and continue on with some of these, but look at this Kobo. I absolutely love this e-reader. It's been so long since I've actually had an e-reader. I don't know if anybody remembers when the original Kindle Fire came out. That was the last e-reader that I actually had. Otherwise, I had the Kindle app on my phone. which is always a bad idea because it's your phone. Every time I would read something, I would get distracted. It took me forever to get through The Werewolf by Amakatsu, which I also want to talk about because that's one of the things I wanted to do before I started reading on here. I wanted to finish up the book that I had already started on the Kindle. I wasn't very far through it, and it's not very long. It's only a short story. 70 some pages. For some reason, I'm not good at reading on my phone just because so much is there for it, because it's attached to the internet. Every time I get a notification or something, I'd be like, oh, let me go look at that, and then I doom scroll for 20 minutes instead of reading. So I did really enjoy The Werewolf by Amakatsu. This one was set in Germany, 1945. I don't want to say too much about it. It's only like 76 pages, like I said, so it was just so good. I loved the ending. I just love Amakatsu's writing. I know she does have a book coming out this year. I believe it's called Fiend, and I am so in. So I gave this one 4 stars, and I really enjoyed it. Kobo. I do absolutely love this. Rachel also has a video on this. Check it out if you have been wondering about the Kobo. I definitely like it. It's very lightweight. I like the buttons. There's so many different options, and I do have the pen that goes with it, but Rachel did say that you could get other pens if you can't find the Kobo specific pen. Like I said, I will link Rachel's channel down below. It's Reading Fairy, and you can check it out and maybe join in on the book club on Discord. I definitely have seen so many videos talking about the Kobo, and a lot of people do enjoy it, and I've been enjoying it a lot. The full Kindle library isn't on there, but you can also have a Kobo Plus, which I do have, and Paladin's Grace is actually a part of that. I think there's 4 books, but 3 of them are available on Kobo Plus, so I already have them downloaded. I've definitely been enjoying it. It's so much lighter than my Kindle Fire, which honestly was a gigantic paperweight. That thing was massive, and the battery was bad. First generation of things, you know. But if you were wondering about e-readers, I definitely like the Kobo so far. The battery's been lasting me a long time. I've just been enjoying reading it. There's so many options that you could do with the notes and highlighters, and you can write on the pages on the Kobo. I really like it. So another reading update that I have is that one of my most anticipated reads this year is The Jasad Crown by Sarah Hashem, and I will be rereading The Jasad Heir with my buddy Reading Bestie. We are going to annotate these copies. That's why I've got a paperback here. We're going to annotate these, and I can't wait to go through it and read it again and just be back in this world. This one is an Egyptian-inspired fantasy. This is not a romantasy. There's very little romance in this book. I absolutely love it because it does feel like actually very enemies to lovers. It's just got so much going for it. The writing is beautiful. I absolutely love some of the things that Sarah Hashem was able to do for this. This is just, I cannot wait. And it's only a duology, so the Jasad Crown will finish off the duology, and it comes out in July. So definitely pick this up. Illumicrate has a beautiful copy. Let me show you that too. If you didn't see a previous video, I think I showed this off, but this is a beautiful copy from Illumicrate. And it's got some pretty end papers. And it's just gorgeous, and the writing is amazing, and this book is just incredible and very underrated. I feel like not enough people talk about this book, but you definitely need to pick it up and give it a shot. I had planned to have the first books that I annotated be The Lord of the Rings, but this has come up and we decided to do this, so I'm so excited. She even got us some bookmarks, and we both picked out some highlighters and some tabs that work really well with the colors that we thought would suit it. So I definitely look forward to doing that. So far, that's all I've got planned. I don't like to plan ahead too much because I'm a mood reader, and most of the time when I made TBRs, I didn't really stick to them. I read one that I would want, and then my mood would be somewhere else entirely. So I don't like to make too many plans, but I definitely want to do this and reread this and go into reading the Jasad Crown as soon as it comes out in July. I'm so excited for it. I can't wait. Hello, editing Jessica here. I realized while I was editing that my outro didn't record, so hello again from a later day. I just wanted to thank you all for sticking around through my hiatus, and thank you for watching this video, and just thank you in general. It's so nice to talk to people about books, and I really missed it, and I'm glad to be making videos again. I'll see you all in the next one.